take the alpha ball and place it right at the base of the skull, behind the ear. And you should feel that in this position, your head can be about in neutral. And then now you're just going to rotate the head, saying no, exploring along the base of the skull. I'm on the left side, so from the back of the head to the back of the ear, you'll bump up against this really bony, big prominence, the mastoid process. And then find a place to rest into stillness, and then change that motion to a nod. And you can sort of nod and then sort of traverse across the base of the skull, getting a couple nods in one spot and then repositioning so that we're mobilizing the base of the skull along that entire left side. Feel the gapping in the back of the skull as you nod the head, yes. Then you might even notice as you nod the head yes and open up that space, you might want to do just a tiny little no in there too. There might be, as you nod and open up that space between the cervical spine and the skull, you might even want to go back across it a little bit. Getting into this area and freeing up this area right at the base of the head is really critical for a lot of our automatic functioning in the body. It's critical for our ability to shift into a rest and digest or parasympathetic state. This is where the vagus nerve, the main regulatory nerve for all of the restorative functions in the body, exits the spine, exits the skull. So rest in stillness then here for a moment. See if you can let the head be really heavy and let go of the efforting and find a momentary easing in or dropping into this place, this really critical place. Seeing if you can create a softening in the entire body. Taking about 3 more breaths, resting in that just right spot here at the base of the skull, finding any last location of tension or guarding, feeling the head sink into the therapy ball. And then let's take the ball and reposition it. Let's bring it more into the head. So let's bring it above the ear now, into the side of the head. And now, in the side of the head, so behind the hairline, not in the soft spot of the temple, I want you to create a little nodding and rotating. So a little bit of a no action here. Making sure your head's in a neutral position. When I have this larger ball and a larger block, I could tell that my head was just out of neutral. So I'm going to come to a lower block with the bigger ball. Or I could have just come to the smaller size therapy ball, the standard size. But I kind of like the broad ball sometimes to cover a bit more territory, and it's a little less pokey. So these areas can be very tender, very sensitive. So if we use a broader surface, it can cover more surface area in order to decrease that local point tenderness. And make sure you nod. So like you're weaving across that area above the ear, the side of the head. You get to choose whatever feels just right. If movement feels like it's stimulating or it takes a lot of work or it's energizing, maybe just sink. Let the body be really, really heavy. And there's no right way, just whatever is feeling right in your body right now, listening to what your body is asking for in this moment so you can respond to the sensations that are arising. Taking one more round of breath. And then letting it go. As we come into the jaw, I am going to take my smaller therapy ball because it's a smaller location. I like to take the standard size ball so that it can fit into that space between the jawbone and the cheekbone. Right here, when you clench, you'll feel that muscle press out into your fingertips between those two bony prominences. And I want to be able to stick the ball right in between. And then I'm just going to land on the side of my cheek. I'm going to separate my teeth. I'm going to open my lips so that I create a little more spaciousness in order to allow my jaw to sink away from the skull. Here, let's use those same actions of the head first to mobilize over the therapy ball. A little nodding. As you nod, you're going to go in line with the muscular pull. Or a little no and get a nice transverse massage. Keeping the bottom jaw soft, pulling away from the top row of teeth. Letting the tongue be relaxed. And then see what happens when you use the jaw as the driver. Open and close the jaw. Or glide the jaw side to side. Or protrude the bottom jaw forward and see what happens where the ball and body meet as you move the jaw up and down, side to side, and forward and back. And then release and let's go to the other side, coming back to the larger ball or a larger block. I'm going to take my alpha ball, my larger ball, with a smaller block, and I'm going to start right at the base of the head. And the most important thing is that the head is just in a neutral position. And I'm going to start by exploring the base of the skull. right from the occiput to the mastoid process, so that bony prominence behind the ear. First rolling along right where the skull ends and the neck begins. Maybe pausing at a point that's sensational. See if you can let go of any holding up of the head. If you're using the smaller balls here, this can be really tender. So if you don't have a larger ball, placing a towel over it to broaden that surface area can be helpful. That's why I like to use the larger ball. It allows me to sink a little deeper so that I don't feel like I have to hold my head up or fight against the sensation where the body and ball meet. And then see what happens when you change that motion to a nodding. And you'll find that as you nod and open up that gate way in the back of the skull, as the skull sits on the spine, you may do a little, just small rotational motion, freeing up one particular point. As you come onto the small suboccipital muscles, you'll feel maybe changes in density or lines of pull as you traverse the base of the head. And after working a bit here, really let your head be heavy, melting into the ball now, allowing gravity and time to open up that gateway between the head and the neck, where our vagus nerve exits, creating more space for this very important regulatory nerve that allows our body to enter the state of recovery and repair, that allows us to come out of a state of stress, enables us to feel safe and secure and engage. So see if you can let your body be 10% softer as you rest here. And then when you feel like you have surrendered completely into where the ball and body meet, take that alpha ball up into the side of the head, just above the ear, so you're in the hairline. Above and then slightly behind the temple. So like maybe 1 inch up diagonally behind the soft spot of the temple in the side of the head. If you want to check if you're in the just right spot, clench your teeth and you'll feel that muscle pop out into where the ball and body meet. And then you can just do a little cross weave pattern going side to side and then nodding up and down. And as you nod up and down, you're going to cover that fan shape of the temporalis muscle. Moving as much or as little as feels right. You may find a spot and just say, I need to allow myself to melt here a little bit more and soften the body to accommodate that space where the ball and body meet. Or it might feel good to move vigorously and scrub. But notice if as you're rolling, you're tightening other parts of the body. And if you feel yourself tightening up, pause in stillness. Exploring the side of the head. And then releasing the alpha ball, taking your standard size therapy ball to that place in the jaw, right between the jaw and the cheekbone and the side of your cheek, just forward of the ear, feeling that triangular space coming right into it. When you clench, you'll feel that muscle contract under the ball. And first we'll soften the jaw, soften the face, let go of any activation or working where the ball and body meet, moving around it to create a rolling over it. So nodding at the base of the head, that area that we've just nicely freed up. And then getting a little rotation. Or always returning to stillness. Just meeting the sensations with awareness and breath right where the ball and body meet. And then pause, let the head be still, and then use the jaw as a driver, freeing up the jaw from the skull and the base of the head. Open and close the jaw, moving the jaw up and down. And then moving the jaw side to side, bringing the jaw through the full motion. And then protruding the bottom jaw forward and back. Feeling that motion right at the point where body and ball meet. Maybe pausing where it feels sensational. Using the sensations in your body as messengers, guiding you to that just right self-care action. Taking about 3 more breaths here. And then when you feel ready, releasing the therapy ball and the block, taking your alpha ball for one last posture, taking the ball to the space right at the base of the head now in the center. Letting your head be heavy, resting on the therapy ball. So we got the right, we got the left. Now we're getting right in the center, right where the head and spine meet. Allow the head to just float on the therapy ball, head supported, and then let go of the whole body so the whole body comes flat onto the floor. Letting the entire body drop into support. Let the jaw drop away from the top row of teeth. Tongue drops back in the mouth. Eyes drop back into the sockets, melting towards the alpha ball. Shoulders heavy. Arms heavy. palms heavy, feeling gravity pressing into the palms, opening the hands. Allow yourself to feel supported, at rest and at ease, integrating the benefits of the practice. Taking a full breath in, exhale and sigh it out. And as you're ready, roll to your side, press down into the floor to push yourself up to complete your practice. Thank you so much for joining me, for sharing your practice. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.